The majority of the trips that I take are independent trips. So that means not on a tour or anything. I'm usually traveling with my husband or some friends or even by myself. And several people have asked me, how do you plan out a trip? How do you keep everything organized? Because if you're planning independently and not going with a tour group or some organized trip, it can get a little confusing sometimes trying to keep everything in order. So I'll show you how I do it. I actually just use a Google spreadsheet. It's very simple. And so I'll just pop you over there and show you an upcoming trip.
Hi, I'm Christina. I offer travel tips and tricks for women over 50 because I'm not done exploring. So, this is a Google spreadsheet that I have for an upcoming trip this fall in October and November to New York City, Denmark, Scotland, and London. And this on this particular trip, I am going to New York City alone, mostly because I got a pretty good flight on JetBlue Mint, which I will show you here in a second. And my husband got a great round trip flight on another airline, and we're going to actually meet up in Denmark. So I'm going to New York first for a few days to do some of the things that I want to do. So we'll go over that. And then we're heading to Scotland together, and then my husband's flying back, and I may spend a few days in London. I have not decided yet. But I'll use a Google spreadsheet like this just to keep things in order, particularly by date, because as you go along on your trip, especially if it's independent and there's nobody really telling you what needs to be done, you can kind of get a little complacent and forget about a few things. So having everything lined up like this is really helpful. So I have it divided up into the date, time, the flight, hotel, car, any specific reservations, the payment, actually what we've paid or what I've paid, and then the booking platform, which I find really useful because sometimes you're booking independently and you're like, oh gosh, where the heck did I book that? Did I book it directly with the airline? Did I book it with an aggregator? Did I book it through Airbnb or Booking? I don't remember. So having the booking platform mentioned is very helpful. So kind of starting out here with flight out, I will put the flight or some sort of reservation time in bold, and that will just tell me, okay, I have to be at the airport at a certain time to meet this 6 a.m. flight. So that's pretty important when you have a bolded space like this, or bolded words, excuse me. So I have a flight from my hometown of Reno to JFK. And then in italics, I'll put in what time it lands. And that's helpful specifically if I need to make sure that I can get a hotel. So I'm landing at 6 o'clock. That's a little late at night. So I actually have a hotel in Midtown Manhattan that I need to be at. And I actually have plenty of time to get there. It's not like I'm landing at midnight or something. The opposite works. If you land early in the morning, you'll see the flight say 6 a.m. instead and go, oh, well, is there something I can do from 6 a.m. until my hotel opens? Is there a place I want to go check out? Or, should I drop off my bags first? So having when you land and when you arrive, I find very important. And then the payment. Okay, I got to tell you about this flight. I got this flight for only $70 from the West Coast to the East Coast because I used my airline miles. So I used my miles and then I just had to pay $70 on top of that. For this, I am not going to go into too much detail about how to use airline miles or credit card credits or credit card miles. There's various ways that you can do it, and it's going to depend on your situation and your credit card or whatever else you're using. But I try to use miles as much as possible just to save some money so we can spend money in other places. So I have this hotel, my confirmation number, and I'm paying pretty much full price for this. $763 for a few days in New York is a typical. New York is not cheap. But they do serve breakfast in the morning, so I may just pig out. And I booked that on booking.com. I'm a Genius member on booking.com. You get little perks for that. Whoop-de-doo. It's not that fantastic, but it's kind of nice. And then in green here, these is just kind of ideas that I have for what I want to do. I would love the High Line. That's the park that's up on the railroad trestles. I love that. I have never been to the Guggenheim, so I want to go to the Guggenheim. Would love to go back to the Met and see a tiny portion of it because it's so big. And I may go to the Brooklyn Botanical Gardens. So these are just a few ideas that I have. And then what I do is I will give myself a reminders like, do I need reservations? Oops. Reservations/tickets. I can't spell today, question mark. And then I will actually mark this in red just to remind me, do I need to look at the schedule of these locations and get reservations or tickets? And then after my time in New York, I'm getting a airport hotel. And actually, I paid $0 for that one. I used Capital One travel credits that I had. I think I had a couple $100 in credits. So I used that. So it's nice to get an airport hotel for nothing because they're not cheap either. And then the reason I'm in New York, not only to play around, but I got a pretty great flight on JetBlue Mint class. So JetBlue Mint class is the business class for JetBlue, and I paid $2,000 for a business class flight over to London, and that's not too bad a price, actually. So what I like about JetBlue is their food is good, but it's basic, and they don't have a lounge. So their business class is a little bit cheaper than other business classes. So I just booked that directly with JetBlue. And then this is in orange. It's a little bit special. It shows my ETA application, which is the UK visa that you pay for when you land in the UK. It lasts for 2 years. So I just got approved for that. So I have my application number here so that I have it on hand. And I just put it in orange because it's not a flight or a hotel. It's just a little bit of information that I would like to have on hand. And then I have an airport hotel when I land in London because I land at 8:45 at night. So I needed a hotel and confirmation number as well. And I only paid $34.76 for this hotel because I had some other Capital One travel credits to use up. So that was just the cost of that, using those credits. I think it was like a $90 hotel. So that's kind of nice. And then in the afternoon, not until 1 o'clock, I have my flight from London to Copenhagen to go see my family. So yes, we're spending some time with family in New York, or excuse me, in Denmark. And so that's nice because I can kind of stay and hang out in the hotel. I think it has a gym and a spa. So that would be really nice just to do all that before flying over to Denmark. And then in Denmark, I'm visiting family for a week. We may rent a beach house. So this is a reminder in red that I got to ask about that. Do we owe them money? Should we look in a specific location, etc.? And then my husband and I, we fly to Scotland after visiting family. We're flying on Scandinavian Airlines at 5:30 p.m. And sometimes I will put both the 24-hour clock and the 12-hour clock, just because in Europe they use the 24-hour clock, and I get confused sometimes between the two. I'm landing. So then that lands at, is that 6:25? 18:25? 6:25, I think. Is that correct? I'm terrible with the 24-hour clock or military time. 10, yes. Okay, that should be right, I think. So then after that, this hotel cost us $114.39 for the both of us. No, sorry, the flight cost us $114.39 for the two of us, and we booked it directly with Scandinavian Airlines. And then we're staying at a hotel in Edinburgh, and we're in Edinburgh for Halloween. I am super excited about that. So there should be a ton of events, and they have the Samhain Fire Festival, and there's a bunch of stuff going on. So I'll show you how we keep track of that as well too. So that's our hotel. And then after Edinburgh, we are renting a car or a camper van. We're not quite sure yet. And we're going to go on a road trip to see Loch Ness, go up to the Highlands, go up to the islands of Skye and Egg. And I have to check on a ferry schedule because this is winter pricing and winter scheduling. So I have to check on ferry schedules for Egg and Skye. So I'm going to put that in there now and find out when that is because they only go on certain days. So I have to check ahead of that. And then once I get that, I will put that information in there. So this is for this week. It's pretty open. It's going to depend on weather. It's going to depend on what vehicle we have. It's going to depend on other transportation we may take. It's going to depend on how we're feeling. So we try not to book too much ahead of time and try to wing some of the trip, which is actually really freeing. You're not overscheduling yourself. So then after that, question mark, if we need a hotel at the airport, because my husband, actually both of us are flying back to London on the 8th. And then I may stay in London for a few days since I don't actually have a flight back. Question mark, question mark. Question mark, question mark. I don't actually have a flight back, so I have to work on that. That's my next goal, is to work on my flight home, and then I will work backwards. So my husband's flying home, and I'm going to maybe stay in London for a few days. I haven't been to London for so long that I'd like to see something. I thought about going on a yoga retreat in London, just to kind of calm down and relax. So that's up in the air. So question mark there. And then down below, these are my notes. These are trip ideas and plans that we have. I have to look for the ferries that go out to the islands of Egg and Skye. We're going to look at a Loch Ness day tour on the lake. This Glenfinnan Viaduct, it's the viaduct train bridge that's shown in the Harry Potter movies. So we might have to go check on that. We may rent a van or a camper van, question mark there. We're going to go check out the Helix, sort of an art area with these giant horse heads called the Kelpies. And then we're going to look into castle tours. So this seems very, very busy for a week, but I think we're just going to kind of see how it goes because it also requires a lot of driving too. So these are just ideas. There's nothing set in stone. And then what I also have are some apps I need to download and make sure that I have downloaded. The American Airlines app, British Airways, JetBlue, Booking, SAS, Capital One, and then Get Your Guide. We like Get Your Guide for day trips. It's really nice. You can book pretty last minute with them, and their prices are pretty good, and they use local guides. So that's an app that I need to download as well, too, and make sure that I have that on my phone. So this spreadsheet is still a work in progress, and it probably will be until the very last minute. So nothing's really set in stone except for some of the flights. That's what I'll sometimes do, is that I'll do open jaw flights, or will do open jaw flights depending on prices, which means I'll just do a one-way flight to a location, spend time in that location, and then get an open jaw or one-way flight back home. I don't do a lot of round-trip flights sometimes. It depends on the trip, and it depends on the prices. So that's one way that I can keep my trip a little bit more independent as well too. And sometimes it saves money because I'll sometimes find a last-minute deal flying home. So maybe I'll find another business class flight so I can lie down and relax.
Well, hopefully you found that helpful with all the mistakes I made. But if you have any other questions about planning travel or using miles or credit cards, I'm going to have a few other videos in the future that will address that. But in the meantime, put a comment below if you have any other questions, and keep on exploring. Bye. So right now I'm on Google Flights looking for my flight home because I don't have a flight home.